We're back with the inspiring story of Congresswoman Jennifer Wexton, an up-and-coming Virginia Democrat who has been diagnosed with a disease sometimes called Parkinson's on steroids. But that has not stopped her from making strides on the Hill. CNN's Melanie Zanona has Wexton's inspiring story.
It may shock you to hear this, but this is not my real voice.
Once a rising star in the Democratic Party, Congresswoman Jennifer Wexton flipped a key House seat in 2018.
I've been saying since the beginning of this campaign that change is coming to America, and change is coming to Virginia 10. And that change came tonight.
Now, a rare brain disease has forced her into early retirement and robbed Wexton of the ability to speak. But that hasn't stopped her from using her voice.
I hope I can show that even as debilitating a diagnosis as this doesn't have to mean you are powerless. And finding moments of levity and fun helps too.
Last year, at 56 years old, Wexton was diagnosed with progressive supranuclear palsy, an incurable disease that impacts about 30,000 Americans. Described as Parkinson's on steroids, PSP affects the brain cells that control balance, walking, speech, and swallowing.
Whatever your politics, when it comes to illness, progressive is not a good thing to be.
As her condition began to rapidly deteriorate, the Congresswoman and mom of two learned to adapt. Last month, Wexton became the first lawmaker to use a voice app to deliver a speech on the House floor, a history-making moment that prompted an outpouring of support.
PSP makes it very difficult for me to speak, and I use an assistive app so that you and our colleagues can understand me.
She also uses the app to participate in committee hearings.
She shows up every time we have committee hearings, and she represents her people. And man, God bless her. And the people she's representing are getting a hell of a deal with her. And so thank you.
And to communicate with colleagues and staff.
In all of the congressional text chains that exist, she is absolutely top 5 funniest.
Wexton isn't the only member of Congress using assistive technology. Senator John Fetterman relies on an app to help him process what he's hearing as he recovers from a stroke.
My recovery was to the point where now it's really this.
Fetterman was so touched by Wexton's story that he sent the Congresswoman a personal note to let her know that she is not alone.
She is inspiring people by being able to perform her job, because a lot of millions of Americans have to.
But everyday tasks can still be a challenge for Wexton.
The Capitol Hill campus has not historically been very ADA friendly. How have you found the institution? Do you think it's been adequately equipped to handle people with disabilities?
You never notice how inaccessible a place may be until it's you who relies on the accessibility accommodations.
And Wexton says some of her colleagues now treat her differently.
It's especially frustrating and annoying when people mistake my speaking struggles for my cognitive ability. I've had experiences where well-meaning colleagues, always men, have approached me saying, "Hi Jennifer, it's so-and-so," and I'm like, "Yeah, of course I know who you are. I've seen you here every day for the last 5 years."
The chaotic speakers race in October took an added toll on Wexton, who was forced to miss doctor's appointments because of the grueling schedule.
That was probably the worst I felt physically and emotionally since I was diagnosed. But quitting early was not something I ever seriously entertained.
Before she leaves Congress early next year, Wexton is using her platform to raise awareness about brain diseases like PSP. She organized an advocacy week last month, while the Senate recently passed her national plan to end Parkinson's disease.
She's an inspiration. While many would have been discouraged or lost hope with a disease like this, she has endured. She has used her struggle to help others, and now the bill goes to the president's desk.
A bipartisan bill named in her honor.
What do you want your congressional legacy to be?
I hope that one day when we have eradicated Parkinson's and Parkinson'sisms, people will say that even though it was too late for her to help herself, she helped countless others.
A really powerful story, Melanie. Thanks for bringing that to us and bringing both sides together, her condition. What stuck out to you the most as you were interviewing?
Her sense of humor and the way it was able to come through. You know, it's not just that she's able to communicate and get her words out. She has her personality. She's cracking jokes. You heard Spanberger say she's one of the top 5 funniest members, and you could see that in interviewing her. But look, there's just been so much nastiness and drama this session of Congress, as you and I have covered. every once in a while, there are moments of inspiration, of humanity, of bipartisanship, and this is one of those moments. Not only is she still serving her constituents every day, but she was one of the driving forces behind this bill that's going to establish the first ever national plan to end Parkinson's disease. It's the first of its kind. It's about to be signed into law. So this is a significant moment. We don't often see bills sailing through the chambers of Congress with bipartisan support. So it's a remarkable moment and just such a compelling story.
It really is, and you're seeing people on both sides praising her. The Congressman Jody Arrington in your piece, a Republican, Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader. Melanie, thanks for bringing that to us.